What's up, YouTube? Today we are back with yet another audit. Today we are going to be talking about Colton's business today. Colton, if you'd want to give yourself a little bit of an intro, tell people about your background and what your business is, and then even give us some stuff that you might want to learn today.
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Kolton Rice. I run a video production company in Ohio called OpenEye Studios. We really partner with service-based organizations. So not just public service like trades, but a lot of public service. So schools is a major market for us, local government, and anything kind of in between. We really have found some niches, and video strategy is our jam. That's really what we do. I'm a big believer that video doesn't necessarily move the needle without a strategy behind it.
Yeah. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and I think that like the thing, what is the specific mechanism, I would say, that you use to, I guess, achieve these results for your clients?
Yeah, most of it's organic. So a lot of it is listening to what they already are doing and then figuring out how we can drop that in there. A lot of times what we're doing isn't necessarily getting more leads. It's what a lot of different people do, but sometimes that's not what the client needs. A lot of times what we're doing is we're simplifying processes. So if you have someone that let's say you're onboarding a team member every month or something, that's an expensive process to have one person dedicated to that. And a lot of
Yeah,
times, if we have a video that does that and explain it once and then use that indefinitely, use it for your marketing and kind of build that out. We do a lot of these video strategies, starting with brand videos, some testimonials, taking them, turning them into shorter ads that clients can then run on social media or Facebook, for example, YouTube, however. And we even do some of the CTV advertising. So we'll take the ad that we take and we will run it on Hulu, HBO Max, Peacock,
nice.
and Netflix, but Netflix is a little expensive to get in there. You have to have
Nice, nice. And then just so I can kind of get a little bit a gauge of your business, right? Like we're gonna go into finance, a lot of stuff of that, like as far as charging clients and all that type of stuff today on this call. Um, I want to kind of understand, right? Like as far as like lead flow wise and like how you're getting your clients. Are these mostly retainers? Are these mostly one-offs? What's the average sell price that you're selling your work for? What does that kind of look like for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a bit of a mix. I don't sell retainers in the traditional sense of X number of
Okay.
deliverables per month or X number of shoot days. We kind of do a pay over time plan. So what we're typically
Okay.
selling is a $15 to $50,000 strategy, and that includes typically 6 to 10 deliverables, plus some of the back end support there. Sometimes there's some consulting hours, all of that. We're selling that for a package that then is being divided up by 12 as a monthly payment. If we
Okay.
don't
Nice.
out, we do just a standalone video between $5,000 and $6,000 for a single video.
Okay. Okay. Anywhere between 5 to 6K for standalone, and then you said 10 to 15, right? Or did you say 10 to 30?
10 to 15 is for a smaller package, but I mean our largest our largest package is a $75,000 package year after year.
And it's
So
pay over time.
yeah,
I like the language of that already.
yeah.
Cool. So as far as your lead flow, right? Like, are you getting these clients and closing them monthly? Are these kind of word of mouth, like more inbound whenever they come type of things, or what does that kind of look like?
Yeah, so a few different things. When I started, it was purely like cold outreach, a little bit of added context. When I started, I was 17. I had no clue
Okay.
what I was doing. And so much so, like, I'm in a pretty small town. Like, it's mid-sized, but there's a lot of, it's very close-knit. And there was a lot of like, oh, who's this kid? Like, what's he know? And I'm trying to tell these business owners, like, oh, here's what we can do to save your business. I'm like, who are you? So I would always act way older than what I was. Like, people now still think I'm like 30, and I'll be 25 in November. So I'm still
Let's go.
right, pretty young. But so a lot of it was that outreach and just building connections, networking. Now we've gotten to a spot with our SEO, which I don't know what I did, but like we're getting leads from SEO just about 2 to 3 times a month for just people who have filled out a discovery form on my website. And it's a pretty
Okay.
lengthy form. And then I have a LinkedIn outreach campaign going where I'm connecting with people in my market. It's 200 connections a week. And then we're sending
Okay.
them messages saying, hey, here's how we can help, getting booked meetings on the calendar, ready to hopefully turn into a production.
Okay, cool. I mean, from what it sounds like, you have a good system. I am hearing some stuff in which like there could be like improvements as far as like for you, so it doesn't take you that much time. I've used Lead Connector as well. I understand what it takes to like send out those messages and utilize your entire utilization of what you have within that week, like you said. But specifically for you, right? Like if there was like an ultimate thing that you'd want to kind of get out of this call, right? Why you wanted to hop on this call, what would be that thing that you were trying to fix in the business?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of it is scaling. That's where I've put a lot of my energy within the last couple of years. I'm in a good spot, especially being kind of a solopreneur,
Hmm.
making, I mean, good money. I have a great like lifestyle, work-life balance, and I'm sure that you've probably experienced or have heard this before, where like there's kind of a threshold you hit, where like
Yeah.
you to do more than this, you need more people, but
Yeah.
you to get beyond that, you need more people. So it's kind of those golden handcuffs of like I'm stuck where I'm at and it's great where I'm at, but I want more. So really being able to scale and being able to get consistent work coming in. One thing that
Hmm.
I've tried to do and it just wasn't for me was like the content agency where we're making 8 to 12 reels a month for a business and it's here's the top 5 things you need to do to sell your house. That's just not my style of business. I'm also not super big into the paid marketing side, like the pay per click.
Mm.
I know a lot about that world. I'm just not a PPC agency who does video. We may be a video agency who can do really, really amazing videos and a lot of the video strategies, and we may be able to do the marketing, but we're not. We're video first before marketing first, which is a
Yeah.
bit of a shift from a lot that's on the kind of the social media side of things.
Yeah, for sure. And like one thing that I would probably challenge just a little bit is that I genuinely, in my opinion, I think most of these places should be video first. Like that's how I run, right? Like our agency, it's called Market. We run mainly the organic side, but we understand that there is a use case for paid media within
Absolutely.
obviously Facebook and Meta and all those types of things. Because at the end of the day, it's like we can give someone a pretty video, but at the end of the day, for a lot of these companies that are paying the numbers to where we can hire teams and stuff like that, they need to see actionable results, ROIs. Are there UTM codes being used in this? How can we track this happening and giving it a report, right? Versus saying like, hey, we'll give you these videos, you post them, and let's see if they do well. Like I am a big believer that like we can make anything look good, right? Like we can make the brand image look amazing, right? Our offer is that we do documentary storytelling for businesses on the front end to build brand identity and then run paid ads on the back end, right? We do that mainly because we know that they need to see some sort of cash on cash result from the videos that we're producing for them. And so that results in like obviously VSL videos, about us videos, testimonials, all these different types of things that then gauge, what that identity of that business is. And so the thing that I kind of want to hear a little bit more about is like, cool, I know you don't want to kind of go down that like pay per click route, right? But as far as your current lead flow, are you utilizing something as far as ads to reach out to the businesses that are local, the ones that are specific to your ICP? And if you don't have an ICP, is that something that you're trying to develop?
Yeah, so I do have some ICPs. I've kind of really have 4 of them that we can work pretty well and have good results for.
Hmm.
In terms of doing any of our own like PPC or stuff or paid ads, no, we're not doing any of that. The LinkedIn outreach is really the only paid marketing we do. I have an agency that does all of that for us.
Okay.
So that's kind of it. But everything else has been organic, which is awesome. And I definitely, again, having the know-how of running paid ad campaigns makes it immensely easier.
Yeah.
And I want to try it again. When I started
Yeah.
paid ads, I was working for an agency who was running paid ads, so that's kind of how I have that
Yeah.
experience. And I just wasn't making what I'm doing now, like
Okay.
financially. So it was part of like, oh, I spend 3 grand and I don't make anything back. Like that's 3 grand wasted. And
Gone.
now
Yeah.
not quite how I see it because I know one that we have more money to play with, but also I am more confident in some of these tracking capabilities now compared to
Yeah.
5 years ago.
Yeah. And again, to kind of ask again, just so I can get a little bit like more clarity. If you were to say the two main issues that you have, would you say that it's the fact that you want to hire more people to scale, or is it the lead flow part?
Yeah, definitely lead flow. I think I can
Okay,
figure out
lead
everything
flow.
else, but you need to have the revenue to be able to support the expense.
Okay, of course, of course. And if you don't mind me asking, in the entire agency, like, can you give like a rough estimate of what the MRR is looking like?
Yeah, it's around 15,000 a month.
Okay, around 15K a month. Okay, cool. And so in that 15K a month, that's pretty much you solo, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, I have a team of 5 contractors. Two
Okay.
are editors. One's an editor hybrid, and then the remaining 3 are crew guys who work on
Okay.
set with us.
Okay, so you're at a place where you're at 15K MRR, and what you're trying to scale to is, I'm assuming, maybe double, triple that, right? And there is not much money being put into any type of paid
Mhm.
to get any leads in that sense, right? So what I'm already imagining is that there is no VSL
Mhm.
on your own company like that exists. There's probably not one, right? The confirmation page stuff that you could do doesn't really exist at this very moment. And so right now, right, you're and I hate using the word funnel. It's such a buzzword, but it's just like there's just like are you consistent at posting content that people can find you from, or this is just doing with the agency that you're working with and stuff like that?
Yeah, doing the agency. I need to be way
Okay.
more posting my own content. My own personal page
Okay.
is better, but yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's like one fear that I know a lot of people have, especially that are doing as well as you, like, I mean, right now you're wanting to get to another point. I mean, 15K is a good amount of money, but it's enough to be able to start scaling right to those 30K, 40K months, right? And there's no content. So there's good news, okay? There's good news. I'll address the elephant in the room, which is a lot of people want to say, oh, like if I start doing content, then like the brands will only want to work with me because they see my face and all these different types of things. When in reality, it's the brand, like when you brand it with yourself, there's a lot more trust on the sales aspect of it.
Mhm.
The delivery aspect and the expectations that is set is through the amount of content that they're going through, right? And when I say content, I'll write this on the side right here. Hopefully you can see this. When I say content, people think, they think Instagram, Insta, they think TikTok, Facebook. That's what they think, right? This is all cool and this is like all organic and it's great, right? But there's other styles of content, right? Like I pointed out to over here. There's the VSL, there's the confirmation page, there is the breakout questions, which is previously known as just like FAQs,
Mhm.
right? But people don't really do this in their video business. There's no system in which the client goes through from top to bottom before they get on a call with you. And you probably already have the system on the other side once they've already paid, which is great. The thing that you'd want to determine here, right, is okay, what is the top of funnel content that we can create, right? That's everything up here. Imagine everything up here being the Instagram, TikTok, all that type of stuff. This is trust building. This is, your clients pretty much figuring out who you are, what you believe in, what are the things that you won't settle for, the industry trends. This is where you show up as a thought leader. In Framework, we like to call this the Netflix effect, just people binging your content. That's the goal, right? People will see your content and then want to then well, first understand what you do, because a lot of times a lot of videographers and a lot of people that own big video companies, people don't really understand what you do. You look like a jack of all trades. You could do this, you could do that, whatever, right? You want to provide clarity to your customer when they go to research who you are. So that's what your top of funnel content acts like, right? Then there's the middle. This middle still lives on some of these platforms, but these are where your trust is built for your audience, right? This is where they consistently see you, right? So on Instagram, the middle of funnel content would look like stories, right? So that's you posting, I'm at a shoot, I am, this is like a client project that I'm working on. Here's BTS of what we've been doing. Da, 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 da. There's some reels that you can do that are a lot more middle of funnel where you're speaking directly to the owner, directly to your ICP, which is great. But then that's where this comes in, right? This content, the VSL, would live in the middle. The VSL was what would live in your Instagram bio, right? When someone goes to book a link right now with you, I'm assuming they just go to a website, they look at your portfolio, and at the end of it, they book a call, right? I'm assuming
There's
that's kind of how it looks.
a strategy session first or
Strategy
for,
session.
which is kind of our vetting system.
Okay,
Uh,
so that's for you to find out, do they have budget? Do they have
yeah.
what's the type of event? Great. So that's another thing that I talked about with some other people that they actually didn't even have, which is like just I call it just a pre-call system where you just give them a brief of questions that allows you to understand if this call is worth taking, like worth my time or not, right? The VSL is this, right? Nowadays, everyone, the first thing I hear videographers say or video business owners say is like, I just got to show my portfolio. I just got to show my da 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 da. But a mom and pop shop seeing your spec ads or whatever on your page, seeing it being for Nike and all that type of stuff, what does that immediately do for them? They immediately go, oh, that cannot work for me. You're not speaking to them at all.
Mhm.
So you're losing out on clients locally because they're like, oh, he does Nike stuff. He's going to be too expensive for me to even handle. And from what we talked about at the beginning, right? You have a pay over time option that most people don't have, right? Like this is something that small businesses and mom and pop shops like need, right? These are like, and this allows you to have the consistent work to then hire people out and do all that type of stuff. But my point being is this, right? What the VSL acts as is rather than a whole huge portfolio page, they're getting to see the work you've done while understanding the systems that you provide, while also you addressing a problem that they might not have realized that they have,
Mhm.
right? That's what a VSL acts as. With a good VSL going into your page, this is what you would literally do for other businesses. It's kind of crazy how you could do this for other businesses and no one ever does it for their own business. Like
They
that's like the craziest thing. Yeah, they never apply it to themselves. They give all the results for everybody else, but never for themselves. But so this VSL should act as that all-encompassing video where someone watches it all the way through, or at least 70% through, and they can understand and tell you about your business just as well as you can, right? This isn't word vomiting. This is addressing a problem that they might need to know that they have. And the reason why I say that this lives in the middle of your funnel is because people would have had to first see you at the top. They would have to see you. Over here is where they build the trust. Sorry about my handwriting.
Yeah.
That's where they would build the trust. And then when we get down the funnel, right, there's a little bit more that you can kind of go into. But this bottom of funnel right here is once the trust is already built. In this place right here, they are making a decision. So a decision is being made in that bottom of funnel, and that decision is, do I want to work with them? I trust them enough. Can I afford it? That becomes the question. Can I afford it? And then that can I afford it becomes how can I afford it, right? So meaning by the time you get them on a call, they're already a lot more bought in. You know why? Because they've seen, first of all, they've seen the VSL. After the VSL, they would be provoked either to book a call, hit you up, DM, send you a text. Most times I would say book a call, that strategy call, or they would go into those questions.
Mhm.
Um, they'll book the call and then go into the questions that you provide them that you're already doing, right? After that, there would be a confirmation page that walks them through how to make sure that their call is booked. The biggest thing about call bookings is show up rate. If you can't have a good show up rate, then there's no point of you even having a book a call link at all. And the best way to have a good show up rate is to have a confirmation page that pretty much walks them through everything. Now, once they're in this bottom of funnel right here, let me undo that. Once they're in this bottom of funnel right here, this is where everything pretty much changes for your business. You remember how I said this is what people talk about as content right now? Just the Instagram, the TikTok, all that type of stuff. Like, yeah, that's great. That's cool. The content that you feed them with after this changes everything, right? It's the determining factor on whether or not someone is going to book, not even just book, but pay an invoice on a call or not, right? Rather than your call being structured around you pitching them and telling them how you are best serving them, they already come into the call knowing that. You're in
Mhm.
that call trying to figure out how you solve their problem. Now, the content that lives here is after the confirmation page. And these are the breakout questions, which is like the FAQs. And then from there, it's you feeding them with so much content, almost to a point where you kind of do get the tiniest little bit of annoying, right? And that's through emails, SMS, and then any type of, wins or testimonials. So you've already built trust up here from the middle of funnel with your VSL, your confirmation page, your Instagram stories, the highlight section on your Instagram. Like you've built the trust. They know you do what you do. It's no question of that, right? Like think of all that you're doing here, this workflow that I'm showing you right now. Think of this whole workflow as like somebody that's in your contacts list right now that you met at a networking event. They, in their mind, psychologically, you're at that networking event or you're at that whatever place because you belong there, because you're hired to do something there. All right, like there's no question, right? They got your contact because they want to know if you can help them and how much it costs, right? Think of this whole system as that you doing this with cold people that have never met you before, right? This opens you up to way more leads than you probably ever had that were already warm. This transforms someone from cold to warm instantly, right? So through the emails, right, you would work these three out together, right? You would work out testimonials in there. You would work out the frequently asked questions, any of the breakout videos that they need to understand anything. So first of all, like one of the things that you already spoke about was this pay over time, right? That's something that can be said in these breakout videos, right? I like to do anywhere between 10 to 15 breakout videos that are about a minute to a minute and a half long, answering a specific question. Because you could have an FAQ page that just has them typed out, but we're in video. Like we got to be in video at the end of the day. And I think these convert a lot better. So this would be videos answering how much does a usual client cost? How much does XYZ, like all the questions that they would probably answer that you'd probably have to answer on a call. Just do that really quickly, because on the call, they can't necessarily use that as an objection for you because they should have already watched the videos before they got there. That whole entire hour that you'd be on the call with them is for strategy, not selling, right? And I get to a point, another point too that I teach a lot in framework is like when we are doing selling, quote unquote, this is all a sales process for sure. And we are selling a product at the end of the day. But like, I want people to understand this, right? People go into selling in a way where they're just trying to get that person to buy rather than going into selling trying to actually solve the problem. Because at the end of the day, if you can solve the problem, they're going to figure out how to get the money for you to do that at the end of the day. So the way that we do selling is very much question-based selling. Okay, so like, how long have you had this problem? How long has this been going on? What changes if we're able to actually get this video done for you guys? Because at the end of the day, like, XYZ doesn't change unless we actually can put some action towards it. Like this is you on the call with the client and they feel heard and seen. That is the main thing that you want to do within sales is heard and seen. When I used to work at McDonald's when I was 16, they said customer is always right. And I used to be like, why are you telling me this? That is so dumb. Like even if they come to me and say the order's wrong, when I literally wrote down what they told me, I realized a lot later is like they just need to, like a customer in general, no matter what business you're in, just needs to be heard and seen. And if they feel heard and seen, they will buy, right? And so in this, right, within your emails, you would send out maybe a screenshot of this client just reached out to me saying XYZ about this, right? Like you've probably gotten clients that texted you saying, we love the video that you made. You killed it. You did a great job. You say that along with the result that it got them, maybe. Let's say they got 5 more bookings, they got XYZ. Like, this is how you would set that up to where, like, for example, you've said you've worked at schools. This helped enrollment increase by XYZ%, like, da 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 da, right? And then you target those emails to your mass audience that you're building from this, right? Because at the beginning of this process on the VSL, they're already putting in an email and a phone number so that you can contact them. Now, this is all great, right? And this is all great on the, like, I guess, cold traffic side, right? Someone that just comes to your page and then sees it, right? This is organic. Now, you would use this same exact system that we kind of drew out here for paid. And before I get into that, do you have any questions so far as to what I've already shown?
No.
Is this helping at all?
Yeah, this is great. I would maybe be interested to see examples that you have of this so I can
Yeah.
nail it. Like I have like a brand message video, which isn't quite a VSL, but it's like trying to solve a similar problem.
Mm-hmm.
But I do need to, you're definitely right. Like I need to expand that funnel for sure. Because I do at least one part for everything, but
Yeah.
it needs to be bigger and more robust. Like,
Structure, yeah.
yeah,
Just having a
absolutely.
structure for it. Yeah. Totally. And before we get into paid, I just want you to also understand, like, you can also stop me if I'm going like
Yeah, no,
too
you're
long.
cool.
But yeah, I want to make sure that you kind of understand this so that you can immediately just be able to take it to your business and already just apply it. Because like nothing beats getting on a call and you finish the call and the client says, all right, so how much does it cost? And then you say it and you can send them a link on that call to buy.
Yeah.
right? Like nothing beats that because now you're able to already like your speed to getting that stuff done is way faster than the back and forth and the,
Mhm.
I got to talk to this person and whatever. Now, obviously, like, you know, use common sense in certain scenarios where it does need to go back and forth. Obviously, if there's like five higher ups that it has to go through, like determine that on the call, right? Um, and so on the paid side, this is where it gets a little bit cooler. Okay. So when you go to the paid side of everything, let me rotate this page. When you go to the paid side of everything, it's that same exact funnel that we just drew out, right? Now, there's going to be two faces to that funnel. Well, there's going to be two sections actually, not two faces. Let me draw a line. Cool. All right. So think about this like this, right? So on the organic side, all right, this paid. So on the organic side, organic. Okay, I spelled organic properly. Okay, just got to make sure. On the organic side, right, you have that initial funnel that I showed you, right, where you have obviously at the top, you have your top of funnel, that's Instagram. You have your middle of funnel, and then you have your bottom of funnel, right? This works great. Cool. This is all for people that will find you organically. They'll see this through your link in bio. Now, paid gets cool because you can actually split these into sections, right? So think of, have you ever done anything computer science wise?
Yeah.
So you know how like there's like the if and statements and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So if this is true, then this.
Mhm.
So paid pretty much allows you to target specifically who you want to talk to. And that's great because you probably have gotten my ads before about video agencies, probably, I'm assuming.
Mhm.
You've probably gotten it from other people and all that type of stuff. It's because they're specifically targeting you based off of something called a pixel. And what's really cool about a pixel is that you can actually add them to specific pages based off of type forms or questionnaires that you give, right? So imagine your current process right now. Let's say that very extensive qualification questionnaire that you give them, right? Shrink that down into 6 questions by itself, just 6 questions. Pretty much, I can't give you all the ones specific to your business, but the main three just need to include something along the lines of budget, can they afford it? Do they have, or like saying, do you have enough to invest X, Y, Z? Because on paid, you can do this. On your organic, you probably don't want to do it as hard, but on paid, you can do this. You can say, do you probably have a couple thousand to invest immediately to do something like this? Are you ready to make a decision on the call? Because you don't want to waste the team's time, type something like that. And then the final one being somewhere along the lines of like, what does your current problem look like?
Mhm.
Those three. Those are the three that you can ask, and then you can obviously add 3 to 4 more specific to the business that you're trying to solve, right? So the reason why Pixel is super important is because there's something in which you can fire it off. And that's why I say the if and statements, right? So if someone answers I can get, so let's say, let's do this. Let's write this and say cost, or let's say investment instead, because it is an investment. Investment. Um, and then on this side, let's go investment. On this side, let's say it is, if they have the investment and, oh, ready to invest, readiness. Investment readiness. And if they don't have it, readiness, and then I don't want to use this, but I'm gonna have to say it. Just gonna put broke, and then I'm gonna put no money. So this is the best way I can I guess map it out for you, right? So if anyone is above this line, right, where they have the readiness and the investment, they get their pixel fires off. So fire pixel on both of these. So if these both things are true, fire the pixel. All right. If these things are true, do not fire pixel. Do you understand why? I want to see if you're following.
So, because they don't have enough money to pay you, they're not a good
Okay,
client for you.
exactly. And I don't think I broke down pixel enough for you. So a pixel is pretty much what I think my computer lagged for a second. Am I lagging?
A little bit, yeah.
Wait, let me see. Let me make sure.
Oh, and
Hold
then
my thought. Hold my thought. Hold my thought. Wait 1 second. Let me just check this
You
real
got
fast. 1 second. I don't know what just happened, but my camera's still recording, so that's good. Um,
see. You're still frozen on my screen.
yeah.
Hmm. If you don't say if you turn off your camera and turn it back on, does that change anything?
Let me see. There we go.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Got the fix. Got the fix. All right, cool. What were you about to ask, actually?
Well, I was gonna say like for a pixel, I am super familiar with pixels and how they
Okay,
work. They are,
perfect.
but if you want to explain it still for the case of the
Okay,
video, by all
yeah, I
means.
can I can explain it for the sake of the video. So
Yep,
pretty
absolutely.
much all what I understand, because I actually have someone that does this for me, but what I understand about Pixel is this. A pixel is pretty much like the IP address for somebody that looks like your audience that you want to sell to, right? So if this person is broke with no money and you don't fire the pixel, then that's good. Your ads are going to start targeting the people that require the fired pixel. So if you show up two landing pages, right, that look exactly the same, and if, no, sorry, confirmation pages, right? So if someone answers the questions correctly on one side for you, right, they answer them all correctly, they have the readiness, they're ready to make the investment, and they have the money for the investment, the pixel fires off and sends them to a confirmation that fires off the pixel. Now your ads on Meta are going to start targeting those people
Hmm.
versus the other side. If it doesn't fire off the pixel, then yes, they can still book in a call and you can still try and close them or whatever it is. But your ad spend that you're spending is not going to be based off of that pixel, the person that is quote unquote broke with no money, right? And so the cool thing about having a system like this for us as video business owners is because we always run through the BS of somebody getting on a call with us and then now you got to pitch them and they sound like everything's all good and then they're like, yeah, I got to think about it, or we don't have money to pay, or we don't have, and you could have gotten all those things answered before you get on a call, right? Like for me, I would say this, right? And I think every videographer should, or video business owner in general, should have this kind of ideology. If a call gets onto my calendar, I should be decently excited that there's a possibility of a close because I know that they've gone through everything.
Hmm.
And that's the goal for like our businesses. And all that organic does is just kind of put out what you would put on out on ads, less more talking to your ICP, less pointed, but people get the value from you, they build the trust with you, and all those types of things. So all in all, like just from what I've heard with your business specifically, and you already have extensive knowledge when it comes to meta and all that type of stuff, there's probably now a point where you need to implement that in your own business, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And for you, right? Like, is there any questions that you have for me or like how we've implemented it or on anything like that?
Yeah. So, have you ever had any issues with that market not really being on Facebook, for example? Like a lot of the people we're targeting, they are either employees for their company, and once they leave, they're kind of not as much thinking towards like, work. Like again, let's think about like a school PR professional. They'd
Mm-hmm.
be like, "Oh, that's a cool idea," and they'll just scroll through. Or it's like a business owner who is typically not on Facebook because they're, I mean, oftentimes, especially if we look at the trades guys are a little bit, but the major roofers, I mean, our minimum client is like at around 50 million in revenue is kind of where we like to
Yeah.
reside. Now a roofing company can do doing that, but the CEO who's looking at that, I feel that we would be a better match via LinkedIn versus Facebook. Have you had any experience with that or no?
Yeah, so of course we like everyone understands. I mean, I hope people understand that are watching this that like LinkedIn is a B2B type of software. Like
Hmm.
people are on LinkedIn not to be entertained, they're there to connect with people and build out business stuff, right? Now, I would say this, right? My success that I've seen on using Facebook or just Meta in general is that obviously it shows up on Instagram, it shows up on WhatsApp, it shows up on Facebook in and of itself. We haven't gotten to the Google side yet, which we would love to get into the Google side. But as far as Meta goes, I've noticed specifically that it does help because people go onto Instagram for entertainment. The same way you just said for yourself is that you know that you should be posting more content. A lot of these business owners know the same thing. They're like, oh, we should be posting more content. Oh, we should be. And they follow people that are either doing the type of content they want to do. And when they do that, subconsciously, they're not even realizing that when they like that post or when they are searching that thing up on Google, they're going to get those ads wherever, right? Like if they're on Facebook and they're not on there just for a specific B2B connection, it's just convenient the fact that they can already fill out a type form from just clicking on stories and then they see an ad specifically speaking to them and their business, right? Someone that does this very, very well, obviously, is Alex Hormozi. If you haven't seen the Alex Hormozi ads where he's just like, if you are this, whatever, making this amount a month, talk to my team. And that's literally just the static ad alone, right? I literally went through his ads library. He has hundreds of those. Like he's talking to videographers, plumbers, real estate agents, all of them. For him, it has nothing, it doesn't matter if every single person is qualified or if they want to be on Facebook or not. They're gonna see it. Then the
Mm-hmm.
people that apply are the people that are gonna come through. And he's conditioning a pixel for each of those types. Like, honestly, if he was to ever sell his company, just the pixel data that he has alone is worth millions, right? And we as videographers need to kind of understand that. And it's like I started viewing it as like just another level of thinking where it's like I know about my white balance, I know about my S log, I know all about everything I know about my cameras, right? But I know nothing about marketing. Once I started learning about marketing and paid media, I'm like, dang, genuinely my business cannot fail. Because look, I have Framework, which is a consulting offer. I have a pixel specifically for them. We have Market, which is an agency offer. We have a pixel specifically for them. I sell digital assets. I have a pixel specifically for the buyers. If you have a pixel for specific buyers, and then you not only do you apply that for other business like schools and all those different types of things, right? Like I can almost guarantee almost 100% a principal of a school is getting some sort of ads that have something to do with the school,
Yeah.
has something to do with it, right? A teacher is probably going to get the back to school ads versus I'm not going to get them.
Mm-hmm.
Like these algorithms are so trained that like we're almost not using them to its fullest capability when it comes to our own lead generation, right? Like all this does, right? Everything that we're talking about today, all that this does is make sure that you're not wasting time on calls that you didn't even need to be on in the first place, right? And so that's the entire goal. But yes, I would say that they're like when you're on LinkedIn, you know what you're on LinkedIn for, right? Like I was just at a trade show in Nashville yesterday for a C-Vent, right? And when I was there, I was literally my mind was like exploding because like I could reach out to so many companies right here, right now, because all of their marketing and event agency people are right in front of me. But I was working for Reverb Agency, so of course I'm not gonna do that. But it made me realize, oh, I need to start going to trade shows, right? Like I need to start having activations at trade shows. I might need to start putting money into that type of advertising. It's like once you realize, in a sense, the advertising game, right? It's instead of going to these networking events that are just like the local ones, maybe I might spend $1,000 and go to one of those bigger trade shows so that I can have an activation for my business so that that's my form of advertisement there. That's how I'll get those clients straight up into their face. That's the LinkedIn type marketing, right? But just in person. But
Mm-hmm.
then there's obviously the online side, which is like an evergreen market, which as you make money from the clients you're closing, you put that back into ads and then that builds your team. That's what I've already noticed. In the
Yeah.
first 2 weeks of this month, we've done $32,000 between consulting and between our marketing agency. And it's not all consulting that we made that money off of. It's from the marketing agency signing new retainers. So just that in general, right, opens up your horizons versus people saying, hey, just do cold outreach. Hey, just do. And the thing is with all the systems, especially the systems that we teach within Framework and the community that we have, for me, I almost look at it like this, right? It's like I have my team for market, right? But now I have Framework, which are the students that I've already vetted and taught. Now, in their specific locations, they can bring us clients and we can close them and they take the retainer. We probably take like 5-10%. Cool, we got that. Boom, you can white label us. Like that's the entire aspect of a community that like we build with something like Framework. But not to harp on that too long, but you get what I'm saying in a sense of like they will show up and your money won't be going towards nothing if your money only goes towards nothing in advertising if you don't go into it with no plan and you just think that, oh, I can just do it myself. That's where stuff kind of messes up.
Yeah, awesome.
Any questions for me?
Um, what is your main offering for your clients? Like, what does that typically look like?
Yeah, so we offer documentary filmmaking for the sake of brand identity.
Hmm?
Um, on the back end of that, though, is advertising. So what we would normally do with clients versus like going in and making them influencers and getting them viral videos and stuff like that, we just want their brand to look as polished, as high quality as possible off the back of the paid ad. So like what happens is this, right? Like I'll make a bunch of pretty videos for a client. They use it as ads and they go to the page and there's nothing on the page, right? Versus they go to the page, there's a bunch of organic content that's there that's giving value to their specific ICP. And when someone clicks on their ad, they're not only given the content from the ad, but then they can go and vet themselves. So giving them pretty much vettable content based off their ad spend. So just optimizing ad spend even further. And so, yeah, we also manage media buying as well for a lot of the clients that have the budgets to do so. So that is our main offer. And so when I say documentary, right, it's like a lot of the VSLs that I see are super salesy, right? And people want like connection and emotion within what they do. So we pretty much package the questions that we're doing for a documentary style interview. So this allows me to get in my filmmaking bag, get some nice B-roll, get a couple good videos that like they can use evergreen for their business forever, but do it in a way that documents it beautifully where the message is said, but it's also being, at the end of the day, on the back end, being sold, right? Like the questions that I ask is to invoke answers that would then be used in a VSL that lives on their page. The same thing for testimonials, the same thing for an about us, the same thing for their breakout videos, all those types of things. So we create those types of assets that live evergreen for companies so that even on their back end of the ads, their email marketing, all that type of stuff, it's found in its entire ecosystem. I've just found that there's a gap in the market where video marketing agencies only offer one or the other, and they don't offer both. And when you do offer both, and especially if you systemize it, you can get those things done very, very efficiently, and you can do it with a decently lean team while also paying them what they need to be paid.
Yeah, it's awesome. It sounds like we have very similar models there. Like we neither of
Yeah,
us we're like we don't want to be like the content house, and we don't want to
exactly.
be like the commercial agency where you're charging $50,000 for a commercial, and after
Yeah,
you're all said and done, you have 5 grand left. Um,
yeah.
yeah, that's super interesting.
Yeah, and the main thing too is like we also have the scalability to offer social media managing. So like that's an offer that if is asked of us, we can obviously provide. And that's just an upsell in which we make no money off of and we just give that off to someone else. So as far as building out teams, it's like I love specific aspects of the commercial space. I love specific aspects of the documentary space, and I love marketing, right?
Yeah,
And how do you put all of those together is by doing that, right? You
absolutely.
put all of those together, and everyone honestly everyone wins because it's no longer like I'm just gonna come to your place with an Osmo Pocket 3 and then you're gonna have fun and whatever, right? It's like no, that's not it. We want to build something that lasts.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I totally get that, and it's there's fewer of us, which is nice.
Yeah,
Like
there
that,
is.
that's then like I mean, a lot of people in this industry, especially if they're newer, are like, wow, there's so many. Like, the content creator is going to beat me out for price. But then there's also like, okay, well, the $50,000 agency is going to be able to do better work. But if you can be in between those two, like, there's a great opportunity to bring next level production down to a local business. And
Yeah,
that's really where we start to explode. Like,
exactly.
that gets me juiced for that.
Exactly. It's to the local business, it's to the starting business. And like I even love what you said about the pay over time. We offer something similar as well, but we just break it down into a retainer. Literally, that's how we do it. We'll like offer high and then we'll say, "Hey, instead of this being this price, we can break it down into a couple months or whatever." You get the same amount of content each month, and it's just like a price anchoring strategy that we use. But a pay over time is amazing as well. Because a lot of businesses need that, they need the cash flow,
Yeah.
but they also need the content, and you need to be paid up front as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. How have you, this is kind of unrelated.
Yeah.
How have you enjoyed the course side? Like I love teaching this.
Yeah.
Uh, and there was some good courses at a time, and I feel like they've kind of fallen off. And
Yeah.
from what I see, the market is missing kind of what you're offering on here's really what to sell. But I've thought about like kind of taking that a step further and like here is how to sell it. Like one
Yeah.
of the things that I'm an advocate of is multi tiered packages. So we always offer
Yeah.
the essentials, the strategist, and the open eye. And it
Yeah.
typically is like 15, 20, 60. And I'm really kind of using some anchoring to try to get them at that 20 level. And like that's what it has exploded my business. Like I don't think I'd be
Yeah.
open if it wasn't for that. And people need to know about that.
Yeah.
So I just
Yeah.
want
That's
what
true.
the course is like how have you enjoyed building it? How was
Yeah.
it? And yeah.
Yeah, I would even say this too about framework in general, right? Like it's the cliche thing that's always said because course has such like a bad taste in people's mouth right now. Um, it is like there is course aspects of it, but like I am genuinely like when I say community, it genuinely is that. Like I bring in people from my network to hire out of framework. I host weekly calls.
Hmm.
We have at least 3 to 4 calls a week with all students that are in there. There's the one-on-one mentorship aspect of it. And like building it has actually been such like a pleasure for me because I had to get over the fact of like, yes, I understand that I'm 23 years old and I look like I'm 17, but people do want to learn from me. And so getting over that has actually made me more confident in one, like selling in general for my marketing agency, teaching them in framework how to sell themselves. Being obviously adaptable because the one thing that I've noticed about courses, right, and this is what I'll say about courses, is that people make it one time, set it, and forget it. And I made a video the other day on my Instagram, and I said something along the lines of, if you think that you're gonna make a lot of money and do less work, you're dumb. Like, I genuinely think that because like it's just different work and it's a different capacity of work. If you think that you're just gonna make this buttloads of money and you don't want to work at the end of that stuff, you didn't even really enjoy it. You just did it for money. And
Right.
so with courses, people film their, I don't know, 15 lessons or whatever, put it up there for $700, $800, and then never update it ever again. And then just hope that it's this evergreen thing.
Hmm.
Versus like what I've enjoyed about Framework is because naturally I feel like I love teaching in general, that like it's like a cup that's filled for me every single week that I go. And at the end of the day, when I see people in there doing better than I am, that makes me feel great. So that allows me to be like, okay, I'm going to update this, or I'm going to take this part of the course down and put up new stuff because I
Hmm.
think that this stuff is outdated, even though it was only 4 months ago. Like I will drop a bunch of my thoughts that I'm having in the moment of like things that I'm thinking of. If I just went to a specific shoot, closed the deal that I didn't think I was gonna, I send them the call. I send them like I just show them pretty much my whole system of like my daily whatever. It's a lot. Like one thing I'll say about it is that it is a lot of commitment, and I think that's what takes it a little bit further than what a course actually is. And it's almost like you're kind of like living life with me and the community that's around us. And so I think that's been the pleasure, and it's been fun building it out for sure. We've had another thing too is like a lot of people will build courses and they will never have an in-person event. I have in-person events. We just came back from a retreat in Utah that we hosted with over 18 creatives that are within Framework, and got to teach for like 3 days, but like also focus on rest. I'm a big person that's like, I need to have rest within my work because if I don't, then I will burn out, right? Like for me, Saturdays, I'm completely off. Like I will not touch a single thing. I will not answer a call for a client, none of that type of stuff. Because at the end of the day, the rest is what empowers me to work. And that's what I'm trying to teach. Versus online, it's grind culture. You need to make XYZ.
Yeah.
I just had like probably the second best first 2 weeks I've ever had in a month. It's the 17th, and
Yeah.
we've done 30 something $1,000. That to me is like, wow, that's crazy. But like, not that I felt like I worked less, it's that I was intentional about rest. So it's all in all an encompassing thought dump of everything that I think of while having community around me. And I think that like that has been the best part for sure.
Yeah, I've thought a lot of exactly right about the summits. Like I was part of what was, I don't know if you're familiar with the Real Deal Video Strategist Club, is what it used to be. It was after full-time filmmaker was like the
Got
peak.
it.
This one was like, we're not full-time filmmaker. We're not teaching you how to operate a camera. We're teaching you the business of that. That's what
Yeah.
I got. I was probably 19 when I got in there. Then it kind of like the guy who started it kind of just ran with it, and then just like you said, it wasn't updated. It just kind of fell off. And
Yeah.
then all of the guys, like I mean, I have a dozen buddies that are super close friends just from this group, and we all talk, and then we take these summits every quarter, and there's like 5 of us. But I would love the idea of having more, and I've just been thinking about it. I've talked a lot. Do you know Gabe Lamodi?
That sounds very familiar.
I know he follows you on Instagram. He does a lot of the like, all right, today's another Da Vinci tutorial. Let's hop right into Da Vinci. Like
Yeah.
that, yeah. So him and I are pretty good friends. He's close to me, and I've talked to him and was like, there might be a fun opportunity here. Like both of us have some sort of community already, and being able to explode that. And I haven't
Yeah.
thought more about it, but there's just like such an opportunity to do it the right way versus
Yeah.
just what you said. Like, and I think you've done a great job at not banking it like, all right, I'm here for my quick buck. Like, you don't even call it a course, you call it consulting. And I think
Yeah.
that's huge because you're right. And that's exactly how I should call it too, is consulting,
Yeah.
because the course is so much set it and forget it. And that's not
Yeah.
beneficial for either party.
Yeah. I don't feel right doing that.
It's so,
Like,
and it's so fast paced. Everything
yeah.
changes in 4 months, just like you said.
Yeah.
And you have to be willing to change it all.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to get to the drawing board and be like, dude, like what I taught back then does not work right now. And like me being able to do that almost weekly is so fun
Mhm.
because then like they're seeing the revelations that I'm kind of coming up with and then implementing it and seeing it work on their side. And it's just so cool to see. And so, yeah, I definitely view more as a consulting rather than a course. And like there is course aspects for those. Like obviously you need to have that mid tier or like that
Mhm.
low ticket option for the people that want to build more trust with you. But I feel like each option should lead to the next, right? Like a low ticket digital product should probably lead to a course, and then a course should lead to mentorship or group or whatever, and then that should lead to one on one, like ultimately.
Mhm.
And I think that at the end of the day, a lot of things do run back to info, anyways, right?
Mhm.
Like college is one of the biggest examples of that. So, like, for me, right? Like, I'd rather pay $6,000 in a mentorship than spend 150 in college. That's just me.
That's exactly what I
So,
did. That's how I got my start.
so
YouTube University and mentorships and group.
exactly, exactly. That's literally what it's been for me, man.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, for everybody that's watched this video, like I appreciate you guys coming through. Hopefully you guys learned some stuff. Colton, hopefully there was some stuff that I was able to help with. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, great, great, great. But yeah, pleasure having you guys. Like, comment, subscribe if you guys want to get an audit. There's a link down in the description. And yeah, have a good one, guys.